I think in the case of this property, we've been attempting to reclaim and reconstitute the land. The original homestead cabin built in 1953, at the time they built the cabin, they scraped the entire property. And beginning about 2 or 3 years ago after we built our home here, we decided it was time to try to restore the land to its natural native plant status. As I like to put it, bring the covers up to the edge of the house. So we're mainly and pretty exclusively planting native plants that can ultimately be self-sustaining and not require much hand watering.
We moved into a wonderful area of natural wildlife, and they're enjoying all their new food in the form of our plants. So we've had to get kind of philosophical about waking up in the morning and see what's been eaten the night before. So I guess at first it was kind of upsetting, and then we kind of learned some kind of acceptance of
who the intruders actually were.
Yes, exactly.
The concept behind the water collection basins, quite simply, we've tried to arrange the landscaping so that any water that comes either off the roof, overflow from the tank, or water runoff from our driveway will automatically run into the basin rather than to run off the property as it did previously. 2 years ago, we had a good 2-day rainstorm, and we successfully filled all of the basins on the east side of the property. And combined with the mulch, I would say the earth underneath retained its moisture for probably close to 2 or 3 months. So as we dug each of these basins, 2 or 3 inches below the surface, we'd encounter this hard layer of caliche. And to give the plants an opportunity to grow and send down their taproot, we had to dig beneath that caliche. So we had lots of wheelbarrows full of caliche. In an effort not to waste it and having no other idea what to do with it, I spread it along my newly formed pathways, which eventually would have DG or decomposed granite on the top. To provide fill, I filled them with the caliche, watered it and pounded it down, so it eventually provided a kind of a cement base to those pathways, over which I then laid the DG. So it was a kind of a fun solution to turn a difficult situation into a positive. We're excited that we've been able to integrate a number of renewable aspects to our home and our property. First and foremost, we have a couple dozen solar panels on our roof, so we're generating all the power we need. We also have installed gutters and downspouts, and those downspouts then feed the catchment basins that we have. In the front of the property, we've recently dug some contour swales that are basically ditches and mounds that similarly collect rainwater and moisture and allow for us to restore the native plants that one time were on the property but were scraped many years ago.
Well, I love jojobas, and there's none on our property, and the question was whether we could get them to grow here. Most of them have done really well, so we're pleased with that. Well, one plant that isn't challenging is the creosote. We live in a creosote forest here, so when in doubt, plant
a creosote.
A creosote, and we love them very much. The smell when it rains, and we have a really high success rate with creosotes.
Desert wise to me means being thoughtful and cognizant of all the aspects that create our desert, most especially about limited resources such as water, resources that we have in abundance such as sunshine, native plants. It's being cognizant of the interrelation between all of those elements.